Welcome to Istanbul. The historic city of Istanbul is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, an incredible location for the third stop on the ISU's Junior Grand Prix of Figure Skating. I'm Mark Conretti and I'll be joined by the incredible Ted Barton from his home studio in Vancouver. We've already seen the women's short programme take place and now we look ahead to the start of the pairs competition. Last week in Linz, Austria, we saw a great battle between the top two North American teams. And this week we can see some very, very experienced competitors taking to the ice. So join us shortly for the start of the pairs short programme. And here we see some sights of this incredible city. And I didn't fully appreciate, Ted, what a rich history Istanbul has. And hopefully the skaters and myself will have the chance to visit some of the sites. But for now, we are inside this fantastic arena and a chance to move on to the pairs event, the second stop for the pair skaters on the Junior Grand Prix. And as I said in the opening, some very experienced competitors who will take to the ice.
Well, as I looked at that flyover, I thought, oh, okay, I'm jealous. I'm not there. You know, as we take a look at the officials for this event, it's just so beautiful. And as you say, it's stooped in rich history. for thousands of years, and you know, it's not, of course we wouldn't have time to visit it anyways, but still it would be special to be there as we take a look at the technical panel as well. And as you mentioned, this is the second stop for pairs event. Of course, pairs will continue on in Gdansk and pardon me, in Budapest and Gdansk. They have 4 events out of the 7 Junior Grand Prix in which pairs is a participant. So they've got to make every event count, that's for sure. We don't see so many entries, of course, in the pairs event. There we see 8 teams, but it's such an interesting discipline, as we've often talked about.
Yeah, completely. And with pairs being such an amazing discipline and one with fewer participants, it does therefore offer more opportunities potentially to the skaters, and we hear about that with Jasmine de Rocher, who's going to represent Canada, and how she's now got this opportunity to be an international competitive figure skater representing her nation at such a tender age, as we see them warming up their side-by-side elements. And as we saw last week in Linz, I'm sure there'll be variation in the technical comfort and capabilities for the skaters.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, the Junior Grand Prix is the perfect sort of starting ground, if you will, for single skaters who may have just said, okay, I'm going to try this discipline, or some pair skaters who have switched partners. And it takes a long time because you have to learn those single skills, all the jumps and the spins separately, and then you've got to learn to do them side by side, and then you've got to learn to do the pair elements, then you've got to learn to do the throws, and then there's a lot going on here. And each one of these elements, let's talk a little bit about the time it takes to execute these elements in pairs, is much longer than you would see an ice dance, for instance, for a set of twizzles or a lift, or a single skater who's in the air for, you know, less than half a second. So these pair elements cover the whole ice surface for the most part, with the exception of spins and death bars. And so there's not a lot of time for, you know, storytelling and music interpretation, particularly in juniors.
And also interesting too, as I was researching some of the different skaters to see their different individual single skating strengths, which aren't necessarily going to be able to support them too much, because obviously we're looking at 2 individuals. If one can do quad loop but the other can't do double axel, then that's a negative value. The time really needs to be spent on the pairs, and that, as we said last week, doesn't happen normally as readily as it would maybe in ice dance.
The excited fan who's now being told, "Hey, don't wave too much." You're going to see 7 elements here. You'll see a twist lift, which you're watching right now, where the girl splits, and she'll do 2 or 3 turns in the air, side by side jumps, double axel perhaps, or double lutz. You'll see a group 3 lift that is a hand to hip, so one hand on the hip as the lift is goes up, and then you'll see a throw jump. Probably doubles, maybe some will do triples, in a death spiral where the woman is down, laid out across the ice, and the man is on a pivot. You'll see a step sequence, of course, that's pretty basic, and a change combination. And that would be both partners spinning side by side in a singles element, a change combination spin. So lots going on as we watch. Here is just the throw double loop, just warming up.
And it's distinctly possible that skaters that will go for relatively easier content in terms of the base value will benefit from skating more cleanly rather than those who will attempt the harder elements. It was interesting last week just to see that the debate and decision for teams and their coaches as to whether or not to attempt the higher value elements, risking negative grades of execution, as opposed to those that are going to play it somewhat safer, maybe more sensible. We shall see.
And there you just watch that hand to hip lift, that group 3. There are 5 groups in pair lifts. Group 5 reverse lift is the most difficult. We'll see that in the free program. We'll talk about that a little bit. I always love this discipline because it's not highlighted necessarily like dance would be perhaps, or, you know, but it is so exciting. And if you have not been at a live figure skating event, get to a pair event, because you're going to go down and you're going to say, it's unbelievable what those athletes are able to do at that speed and with that much risk. It's pretty spectacular, that's for sure.
Well, I always think, as we see, Everybody keeping entertained. I was thinking
Look at the video board. You're on it.
You're on.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the film Blades of Glory, and everybody joking about what was achieved, comically in that, not real stuff. And I think, pair skaters kind of do some of that stuff. Like, they are real superhumans.
They do. Like, they were talking about what was that
the
move
Iron
called?
Lotus,
I can't remember. The Iron Lotus, that was it. And you think, there's no such a thing. Well, you know what? There is no Iron Lotus, okay? But there are some very, very difficult elements. That's for sure. Although maybe somebody will create the Iron Lotus. We'll see.
What base value would you give the Iron Lotus? That's the question.
Oh, that's gonna need to be I don't know about base value, but it needs to be like a level 10.
Yeah.
Difficulty. Well, our first team comes from Germany, 18-year-old Anastasia Stepalenka and 20-year-old Luka Nieding. This is their first Junior Grand Prix event. They're coached by Rico Rex. First team out in this event. This will be an exciting debut. We haven't seen this team. Looking forward to it, as they will skate the short program to Caught Out in the Rain by Beth Hart.
A wry smile from Lucas Nieding as he looks towards Anastasia Stepalenka, who have done a solid debut on the international scene for the German team.
Yeah, it's interesting, Mark, as I watch these, because I thought this is really a good team. They're very well matched. They're pretty good single skaters. The pair elements are good. Now, they're all in the minus, except for one element, is minus GOEs. That means the quality of the execution of those elements is less than 0. They're taking some points away. That does not mean that they're not a good team. They are an excellent pair team. particularly for the future. But it's new. This is a new team. So love some of the elements. We'll take a look at that here. I'm not sure what the menu you've provided. Here's the twist. There's not so much of a split. Not very high. It's okay. That's basic. They're learning. Double Lutz's hand goes down for Anastasia right there. Group 3 lift. This is really good, though. Good ice coverage here. You don't see any snow coming up from his skates. Good flow across the ice. Change of hold. Change of position for her. That is in at a level 3. So 3 of the features. Good, strong throw double loop.
And
we can have more replays, can't we? Jeez.
That must be.
But no, some of the really good basics for this pair of teams to start with, no question.
And Anastasia,
and just some quality issues.
Yeah, Anastasia explained that she moved to Berlin, the site of their training location, just over a year ago. So to start pairs, so it wasn't just new partnership in pairs discipline. It was new discipline and new partnership and new training location and new coaches. So such a short space of time relatively. And as I mentioned, sorry, Ted. I was just going to say, Lucas, he's got the triples. I'm sure she has the potential for that too, but they've spent the last year honing these pairs elements.
Yeah, no, and if I'm a pair coach looking, said, would this be a team that I'd like to work with? Absolutely, because I see, you have to look deeper than just what you saw in this performance. Do they have the physical skills? Absolutely. Do they have the skating quality? Yes, they do. Is it all put together yet? No, it's not. But this is an early development team. So I see really good things for this team in the future if they can stay together, work together over a long period of time. Well, the score is 36.21 for Anastasia and Luca. Not, of course, we'll put them first because they're the first team out. Take a picture quickly of that, of that stat. Yeah.
First in your first international.
There you go. Our next team comes from Spain. 15-year-old Ines Murin and 19-year-old Alejandro Lazaro Garcia. Now, their personal best earning that last season was 25.47 in the short program. Second season out, so we'll see some improvement here as they'll skate to Shining Star from Cinderella.
Well, potentially their strongest element to finish the short program, and a lovely hug between Ines Muden and Alejandro Lazaro Garcia from Spain.
Yeah, it's a significant improvement. I'm not sure whether the score will reflect that, because there were a couple of little things here and there for sure, but they are working together better, more like a pair team. When you first start out, you're little like two single skaters just trying to figure out how to skate beside each other, and this looks a lot more confident than we had seen last year.
Well, Ines remarked how well they get along, so they do everything together, and maybe that's what you see when you see them as a split twist goes up.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. There's that group 3 lift. You can see he was pretty careful here. Keeps it pretty balanced, changes position, change of hold. And this is in at a level 3, so just missing one feature. Very careful on the dismount there. Very nicely done. The double Lutz. Oh, that was a single Lutz. So it was in at a double Lutz. This has now been downgraded to single Lutz. Here's the throw double loop. This is nice. He removes himself out of her pathway. She carries the speed through the air and on the landing with a big smile. Yeah. That was nicely done. This is a really good element here, Mark. Good pivot. Anchored there. That's one revolution. Come on, hang on, get 2. And the entry. So there you go, level 2 for that forward inside desk bar. And that had a positive, oh no, just a small minus GOE as well. But you look at the personalities. Great.
Yeah.
Good teamwork.
Great, like you said, great teamwork, and great to hear that they do everything together. They study together, they holiday together, they are totally united on this pursuit of a shared goal. And interestingly, Alejandro studies pharmacy, and his goal is to find a cancer cure. So what an amazing human that is.
Wow. It's great to find some of the background of these skaters, because they're impressive as athletes, but in many cases are more impressive just as people in what they're pursuing. These are high performance people in sport and in life. 34.25 for Ines and Alejandro, and that'll put them currently into second place. But good improvement made. That's significant higher score than last season. So the improvements have been shown in the scores, and more to come. Stick with it. From France, 19-year-old Louise Erhard and 19-year-old Matthias Pellegrini. 40.43, the personal best at the World Junior Championships last season in Calgary. Hope to top that score here right now.
Well, as with the Spaniards before them, a huge improvement showcased by this French team, Louis Erhard and Mathis Pellegrini. Yeah. And he had surgery in June, Ted, so couldn't train for 1 month. So amazing that they've prepared themselves and still showed big improvements since Junior Worlds in March.
Very, very solid team. I just want to explain for the audience, when they're spinning side by side, you'll hear someone yelling. That's one of the team members is charged with indicating the other one change, right? So they yell and then they change. So or change position or change foot. So you hear that quite often. Just wanted to explain that. That's yelling. Their unison and how close they skate together is really, really strong with this team. Here's the twist. Pretty good split in at level 1, so the catch wasn't awarded or the entry. Here's the double axles. This is of course more difficult than the double lutzes. And well done all the way around. No problem. Here's the throw triple loop. Now this is a 2-foot landing. Watch on the landing. Both feet will touch the ice and she'll have to flip out, step out. But that's okay. It's a difficult element under construction. And there's the group 3 lift. Redirection first, stop the rotation, go back the other way. That is a feature, adding to degree of difficulty plus points. Really well done. That's a level 4 maximum level of difficulty for that lift. And those spins, very difficult to get that in unison, but you can see them spotting each other. Yeah, nice job.
And I think setting themselves up well for a career as seniors. They're both studying at university, so how they manage these training improvements that they've made whilst pursuing their academics is impressive, but I think that they are making that transition, and Louise turned 19 just past last Sunday, so senior ready.
This is a really good looking team, and they're going to challenge the American and Canadian teams as we move along in the Junior Grand Prix. It's going to be very interesting to see who makes it to the Grand Prix final, Junior Grand Prix final. There it is, 47.83. They look pretty happy there as they take over first place.
Like a 7.5
nice
point
improvement
PB,
by all
great.
3 of these teams, Mark.
Yeah,
nice improvement by all 3 teams. Yeah. And from Canada, 17-year-old Jasmine DeRocher and 19-year-old Kieran Thrasher. Kieran, of course, on the Junior Grand Prix last season, coached by Bruno Marcotte, Brian Shales, choreography by Julie Marcotte. Skating the soundtrack of Emily.
I was told Megan Dallin was explaining that Jasmine wasn't a competitive skater 16 months ago. Never mind competitive pair skater, and now she just looked so at home and just beautiful in that step sequence. Her smile was glorious, and pairs elements that look comfortable to somebody who it's mind-blowing to think that she wasn't a competitive pair skater 16 months ago.
Well, and maybe that was the asset, that you don't come in, you're just happy to do this without preconceived ideas or worries or whatever. That was beautiful. Yeah. That was brilliant. This team has come along so quickly, so fast. They had a pretty good summer next-gen camp, but this was far above that. There's the triple twist. That's it at a level 2. It was in at 3, so downgraded to 2. Still good. Double axles. Different timing a little bit. That's okay. It's still a new team. Here's the throw. Double loop. This is the stage of development they're at, but no question this will be a triple. It probably is. Maybe already in the free program. We'll see.
I just captured this, Ted, because I thought look at the performance value from her. She's just gorgeous.
The expression is wonderful. Yeah, and there's the forward inside death spiral. Anchors that right there. That is in at a level 3. And their step sequence was the level 4. So they're getting great levels of difficulty. And there are only 2 of the 7 elements that are in the minus. Everything else is in the plus GOE. So this team has an excellent debut here on the Junior Grand Prix, and you can see the smile in Jasmine's face. She said, I'm loving this. It's great. And same thing with Kieran.
Yeah. And of course, Bruno is so experienced, such a brilliant coach, but also I just love Julie Marcotte's choreography, the musicality, the lift went up so perfectly with the music. She is amazing. I feel like you said about how Canadians, coach the world. She's undervalued worldwide. I think Julie Marcotte's choreography is just brilliant.
Julie Marcotte's choreography is as beautiful as she is as a person. She's so nice and so wonderful, and understands the people that she's working with. Given the best choreography, Bruno Marcotte does such a great job as well in coaching the person. He knows how to teach, but he knows also how to work with the person in stressful situations. Does a great job. 54.85. Even Bruno goes, whoa, that's great. Clearly first at this point. What a wonderful debut. Keep the love, keep the enjoyment, bring it into the free program. Nice start. Bruno's still wearing that smile. He's really happy with that. And so they should be. I saw the team at the Next Gen camp, and it was pretty new. But this looks like they've been skating together for a couple of years. As we take a look at the start order for group number 2, as they take to the ice.
I just had a quick check.
So, Mark, could you ever do pairs?
Well, that's a good question. That's the discipline I didn't do. Now, I suppose like many of the skaters, because pairs is the less popular, or not less popular, that's totally the wrong choice of vocabulary, the less rehearsed, trained discipline, there weren't opportunities or environments for me to go and explore trying it. But I suppose for me, it just takes such an amazing human, and I think I would worry too much. I think the pairs men are amazing in the care that they give their partners, but I think I would be just too worried about the responsibility.
Well, Mark, are you putting yourself in the non-amazing human category? Is that what you just did?
Definitely not pairs amazing. I am not pairs amazing.
I did pairs competitively and in the ice show as well, and I was not physically strong in my body as much as I probably should have been. But having done pairs, I appreciate so much the intricacies and the detail of each person's job. And in order to have a pair team that works magic like a dance team would, it takes each partner to know and do their job perfectly to be able to skate as one, because their jobs are significantly different. One is way up in the air holding a position looking beautiful, the other one skating down the ice with the woman on one hand, and you have to be in sync so perfectly to be able to weave the magic. And the juniors, we've seen some really good teams, yet the magic's not there yet, because that will come in many years of choreography and partnership and all of that. But Oh.
Well,
I love this discipline. I really do. I really admire the athletes.
Yeah, and I think, it's a relationship and bond between two humans that, marriage is obviously a relationship bond between two humans and a commitment to that as a life skill, but I don't even know if marriages would undergo, not all marriages would have that level of trust and putting, their life in each other's hands.
You're going, here, let me throw you.
Yeah.
It's not.
With knives on your feet, let me throw you in a cold environment while you're wearing hardly anything if you fall with knives on your feet. I mean, we are in an absurd sport, but that's what makes it all the more amazing.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's one of the things also I like about the pair coaches is that they know the elements, they know how to teach them, and they do a beautiful job at it, and they teach safety first, especially for the man, to be able to save his partner, should something happen. So you have to weave the potential fear, the risk, the individual skating skills, the difficult pair skills, all together, and it's a completely different discipline. It looks the same because they're doing like a double axel there, but it is a different discipline, requires different personality traits, I would say.
And that's when you reference the coaches, as we see the throw double loop there, that that's what makes as I said, I didn't do pairs as a discipline, but being around pairs, I remember when I was training, in a rink where Tamara Moskvina, the legendary pairs coach, was working, and then Bruno Marcotte, I remember him coming to Britain to teach some of the pairs, and what was almost most fascinating is that whilst they are coaches of such a challenging and potentially dangerous discipline, they both, like you said it in reference to Bruno, cared for the humans, had such holistic, mindful appreciation of humans, and I suppose maybe that's what indeed you need to have. It's not a discipline that needs to be considered as just something purely physical.
Yeah, it's, if you want a beautiful house and a safe house, you build it carefully and you build it from the foundation up, and that's what you have to do with pair skating. You build it carefully, safely, and you build it from the foundation up, and it takes time, and you have to have patience, and you have to have that knowledge, and certainly the pair coaches at the highest level, are specialists in that area, in this discipline, that's for sure.
This team, the Georgian team of Anastasia Metelkina and Luka Berlava, both very experienced, even at Olympic level, and you can see that in the quality of their movement here, choosing to utilize their age and compete in the junior circuit as a new team and gain some experience before, I'm sure, going on to compete at seniors as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a very, very experienced team. And as you mentioned a little right off the top of the show, this is a pretty solid group of pair teams here. We've seen that in the first group.
Yeah, already, sizable improvement and move forward since last season's Junior Grand Prix, and that impressive in one season as the discipline continues to lay foundations for the next couple of Olympic cycles.
Well, it's going to be interesting when we get to Budapest and to Gdansk, the final two pair events, to see who will qualify for the final, because there's some really good teams that we've seen just in 1.5 events so far in pairs.
And you have to assume that, given that many of them are new team formations, that then the changes and the developments within a season might be more visible than in maybe the other disciplines where there are less new variables like a new partnership to deal with.
Here we go, and just a reminder, after the conclusion of the pairs event, the men's free program will take to the ice next in day one coverage from Istanbul. And here we go. Our first team in the final group, 16-year-old Olivia Flores and 19-year-old Luke Wang from the United States. They're coached by Drew Meekins and Natalia Mishkatuniak. Personal best, 52.02, earning that at the Cup of Austria in Linz just last week. And they'll skate to Once Upon a December.
Olivia Flores and Luke Wang competing in back-to-back events, and look at, well, both of them are a joy. He is just such fun as their compatriots and fellow competitors cheer them on. He just exudes joy around the rink, and I'm sorry that the double axel didn't make it for him today.
Yeah, I love this team. They were so nice when I was in Linz last week, just wonderful personalities, and they had a great skate. They took the silver medal there. I think it's very smart. Stay in Europe, do these back-to-back, because there's lessons learned. There's things to be gained without, rather than traveling back and forth. So I think good decision here. Really unfortunate about the double axel. Did you pick up those split jumps in the step sequence?
I pressed it out, but it was belated. I don't know, we'll see.
Loved it. There's the triple loop, hand goes down. And the double axel. Let's watch what happens with Luke here. Left foot. No, he looks good in the air, just outside the circle a little bit, and couldn't save that. And has to take the fall.
Oh, here we go.
And is this it? There, you got it. That is beautiful. That's a small nuance, but they had equal splits, beautifully timed. That's a wonderful quality item, even though it doesn't have a base value to it. It's embedded in the step sequence. As we look at the inside death spiral, that is in level 3.
Great exit as well. And again, another team that's just so new, and back to back, traveling around these events in Europe. Like, what amazing life experience. And they both, I mean, Olivia too, they just ooze joy as they're joined by Coach Drew Meekins in the Kiss and Cry, and they look to be utterly relishing, these life experiences.
They're very cool kids. They really are, and they're just loving every moment, learning from every moment, and that's all you can ask for. What a joy, and they'll never forget this, and they'll continue on, obviously. But we saw really good improvement, and when they came out into Linz, very strong. Let's take a look at the scores here. They're going to lead. Won't have that score here with that one mistake, 49.52, and that'll put Olivia and Luke currently into second place. Smiles are still there by all three. Nice job. Yeah, positive attitudes. You gotta love that. Our next team comes from Germany. 14-year-old Sonja Lowenhertz and 19-year-old Robert Lowenhertz. Second Junior Grand Prix season for this brother and sister team. They were 14th at the World Juniors last year in Calgary, coached by Rico Rex. 38.71 personal best from last season on the Junior Grand Prix.
The brother and sister team from Germany, Sonja Lewiners and Robert Lewiners. They, Ted, will, I'm sure, have been motivated to have another team training with them. The team Anastasia Steblianka and Lukas Nieding joining them in their training rig with Rico Rex. I'm sure that's both a blessing and a curse then when you have new training mates pushing you, but also challenging you.
Yeah. In the long run, it pays off, no question. There were the double axles, unfortunately. Sonja took a fall on that. It was the group 3 lift, right hand on the hip, grabbing the blade. And the double axle for Sonja also had a downgrade. Here's the throw. Double loop. That was really nicely executed. Good extension on the landing. Nice flow as well. Good mechanics set up for the triple. As we see the side-by-side change combination spins, and we haven't really seen a full spin in unison. It's very, very difficult to get the whole spin in unison. You get the first part, like a camel spin.
So rare, even at the senior level. It's rare to see it
yes.
done, even there.
Very, very difficult.
You know, I really like to see the good connection here. This is a team that they came 14th out of 14 teams at Junior Worlds, but that hasn't deterred them. That hasn't put them off. They've gone through the off-season. They've worked hard, and here they are again, back on the international circuit, looking united with presumably a long-term plan. And whilst I've acknowledged the training mates that they've got, they are much older, so this team has the potential to stay at the junior ranks and amass the experience and wisdom that will serve them up for entry into seniors.
Here are the scores for Sonja and Robert. Short program score 32.86, and that will put them currently into 6th place. Our next team comes from Georgia, 18-year-old Anastasia Metokina and 20-year-old Luka Burulova. Event together. And they'll skate the summertime.
Well, Ted, I'm just frantically trying to find the junior world record score for short program and wondering if this team will be able to achieve that this season. It's no surprise with the experience that Anastasia Metelkina and Luka Berilava from Georgia have that they've laid down an epic short program here on the Junior Grand Prix.
But he was the 2022 World Junior Pair Champ with previous partner Karina Safina. So this is a relatively new team. However, they obviously have great experience in pairs. That is, you talked about it, that's senior. That's a senior quality, particularly in the elements and the skating skills. You're going to see a big score here. And that is amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, she's won medals on the Senior Grand Prix with her former partnership. Indeed, interestingly, she was scheduled to compete at Europeans and Worlds with her former partner, and then the assignment was then sort of taken off her and her partner and given to Luka and his partner at the time, and now they've hopefully formed, you know, the best of both.
We see the triple twist coming in level 3, and here's the double ox, just perfectly timed on the takeoff and landing. And here's the throw triple loop. Watch how quickly the free leg punches back, right out and back, and just rides that edge. Wonderful speed. That is top senior quality. Beautiful. Here's the group 3 lift. Great speed across the ice. Nice smooth turns. Change of position and hold. That is in level 4. Actually, other than the twist, every element's in a level 4.
And we were talking about the difficulty of maintaining synchronicity in the pairs side by side, and yet for a new team, they did it.
I was thinking about that. I thought, oh my gosh, we just said that. But it's a good thing because we said it. You know, they turned it around and got it all matched up pretty well. You know, pretty well.
So the world junior record for pairs in the short program is 73.71. I don't think they'll get that here, but as the season progresses, it'll be interesting to see how they manage the junior and senior ranks and whether or not they'll compete in both all year long. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. The top score here is 54.85. I think you're going to see that beaten quite handily. As they get a 67.92. Raise the eyebrows. Luka going, oh, okay, that's a pretty good score. As they take over first place, last team in this event. And wow, that was a good pair event, Mark.
Yeah. Well, one more to go, and already we're talking about world records being broken in this season. So.
The final team from the United States, 17-year-old Adele, 18-year-old Andy. This is their first junior Grand Prix event. And they'll skate the short program to Too Darn Hot and a Cool Cat in Town. A little bit off there, but they did a wonderful job as well. It is difficult, so just appreciate how well executed those change combination spins are. So, yeah. But, you know, certainly some of the elements with this young team is still in the more, basic level. The throw is a double axles. That's good. Double twist. That's in a level 2. As we'll see, there's the twist. Pretty good catch.
I took all of this, Ted, because the whole transition, all the choreo, even that step there was great into the axle.
Yeah, nice work. And good save.
Yeah.
By Adele. And here's the throw, double loop. This is a little bit too far forward and on a lean in the air, so that's just a mistake, but they'll get that straightened out, of course. Here's the forward inside desk bar. This is in level 1, so they're getting one feature. And there's the full revolution, change of hand. Wow.
Just wasn't sure her position was sufficiently low enough for all of it. It's a little bit borderline. But, their coaching staff, Chris Canadian with them, and Andy can draw on all the experience that he had last year with Kayla Smith. So, and indeed, Adele's an accomplished single skater. She qualified for US National Championships a couple times herself. So lots of experience, just not necessarily all together yet. So growing together.
Yeah, just time. Just takes time. Short program score 42.19 for Adele and Andy. And that'll put them currently into 5th place overall. Completion of the pair short program. But we had some really good skating here, and this sets the stage for Budapest and for Gdansk and for the Junior Grand Prix final. Battle for the final.
Yeah. It's going to be closely fought 6 spots to get to Beijing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. As we're going to take a look at the standings. There it is. Anastasia and Luca in 1st, Jasmine and Kieran from Canada in 2nd, and Olivia and Luke from the United States in 3rd. And there is a look at the rest of the field. So that concludes the coverage of the pairs short program. Up next will be the men's short program. That'll start local time in Istanbul at 18:15 in Istanbul. And you want to join us for that, that's for sure. There'll be 27 men in that event and some good skating as well. So that concludes our coverage of the pairs short program. From Mark Hanratty, I'm Ted Bard. Thank you for watching. We hope that you'll join us for the men's short coming up.